Interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony, an Idaho man set a Guinness World Record by balancing a running chainsaw on his chin for 4 minutes and 1 second.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. Wow, that beats my personal best by 4 minutes and 1 second. I would never. I don't want to even hold.
Say there's video.
I don't even want to hold a running chainsaw.
I want to hold a still chainsaw.
No, I don't want to.
When it's out of gas. Chainsaw. What are you doing putting a chainsaw near your face? Wow.
Close shave. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Texas Tech challenges Texas. Novak Djokovic goes out of the French Open, and Tim Legler joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with the San Antonio Spurs blowing out the Oklahoma City Thunder last night, 118-91 in Game 6 to force a Game 7. Victor Wembanyama more than made up for his anemic Game 5 by scoring 11 points in the first quarter to go along with 5 rebounds, a block, and a steal in the first quarter. Gilgeous-Alexander continued his struggles, scoring just 15 points on 6 of 18 shooting, his 4th straight sub-40% shooting night. Wilbon, what did last night's results say to you?
That we're in for a great Game 7. That's what they said. That's what we expected. You and I both expected Wembanyama to come out and put his fist imprint on this game, and he did. And they, to some degree laid a smackdown on SGA. And so it was, I thought it was an entertaining game, though there was no drama in the score late. It was entertaining because Wembanyama just came out. When he buried those 2 threes early, you're like, okay, this. That's right. But to be fair, OKC did hang in there. Every time San Antonio would lengthen that thing to 13 points or so, they got it to 6 and 8, and one time they got it to 5, and they missed a 3. They could have gotten it to 2. But San Antonio controlled the game, and now we get what I want to see from the best series in basketball. Sorry, Knicks fans, and the next one may be better, but so far, this is the best basketball can offer.
Yeah, we're on opposite sides on this. I'm going to go off book here. I am. I believe that NBA players are the greatest athletes in the world. I really do. They make shots from impossible angles. They soar like eagles. But the playoffs to this point, they're rugged to watch. They're just not very good. The differential in scores is just so high. I know that you like to sit here and say that you find this series irresistible, but I've been able to resist this series. Let me give you a couple of numbers here. Game 1 of this series was fantastic because Wembanyama announced himself. Yeah. That was a great game. But games 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6 have not been on that level at all.
You never heard me say the games were irresistible. The series is. The back
average,
and forth.
the winning score is an average of 17 points. And the Knicks is no different. The Knicks are beating people by 40 points. Yeah. But yet their Game 1 with that comeback, that was breathtaking. But then games 2, 3, and 4 were, as we like to say in the street, garbage. Now you're headed for a Game 7. Now those are the magic words for sports writers. Game 7. We expect the most in the world. But here's the but, Mike. In the other 4 Game 7s, the margin of victory is 18.5 points. Only the closest one was 9. I sit down to watch these games knowing I'm not going to have to watch the 4th quarter, which is good for my sleep. It's good for me.
You're looking for a reason to turn off. I'm looking for a reason to see what is going on in these matchups. Steve Kerr got this right about the 3-point shot. And it's not going to be a referendum because Steve's the only one who's smart enough to say it and mean it, even though he made his living that way. These games the blowouts happen, Tony, because the team gets some momentum, and all of a sudden you hit 4 straight threes, and boom, you got an enormous lead, and the games go like that. But the series can still be compelling.
I'm going to say one other thing here, and it's about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's 2-time MVP, having troubles now. We walked into this series, both you and I, and we said Victor Wembanyama has something to prove right here in the opportunity. Game 7 may be more about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander than everybody knew.
Not maybe.
Than everybody knew.
Definitely, because you know what? In his rear view, and things are larger than they appear, is Wembanyama.
Mike,
coming up on him fast.
His team is minus when he's on the court and plus when he's off.
But what do you expect in Game 7 tomorrow night? You expect him to be plus at the end of the game?
I do, and I hope it's a great game. There's been one great game.
Just one game,
but just one.
But I still love the series. You can go watch the Nats if you want.
Oh, I will.
So I know you will. So let's move because they're compelling. They're irresistible. Let's move to college football, where Texas Tech is telling Texas, put up or shut up. Last week, Longhorns coach Steve Sarkisian mocked the Red Raiders' Big 12 strength of schedule, suggesting the Longhorns' second or third teamers could run through Tech's schedule unbeaten. So yesterday, Red Raiders coach Joey McGuire offered to pay the buyouts for both schools' Week 1 opponents in order to make a head-to-head matchup happen. Ha! So, Tony, should Sark back up his big talk and accept the challenge?
It's a great story.
Yes,
I love this story.
I do too.
Here's what Sarkisian said. This is a direct quote. There's a team in our state in another conference with a schedule that I would argue if I played with our 2s and 3s, we would go undefeated and they'll probably make the playoffs. That's a direct shot at Texas Tech. A Big 12 school. Texas left the Big 12 in order to go into the SEC. Now remember, Sarkisian took a shot at an SEC school recently at Ole Miss, where he said the academic standards were so lax that if you transferred in, you would major in basket weaving. So help me out on this. How many national championships has Steve Sarkisian won in Texas? Oh, that's right. He has won 0. Last year, with Arch Manning, did not make the playoffs. It ended up in the Citrus Bowl, and you know you can't spell citrus without UT, right? And they were the #1 ranked team in the entire country last year going into it. So the Texas Tech coach said, okay, we want to play you now. We will give you money, guarantee you money if you play us now. This is a dream. They play it in Jerry World because the World Cup will be out by then.
Won't do it.
Every single person in Texas should be agitating for this game.
But Texas has Ohio State on the schedule. I think it's Ohio State, so it's not going to happen. I don't want to go too crazy on the Sarkisian family, which has history at Northwestern, so I'm not going to do that. But you left some meat on the bone so I can go after everybody in the SEC together at once because Sarkisian ran his mouth and now he doesn't want any part of that. It reminds me of wrestling when the guy would stand in the ring in the old days of wrestling and issue a challenge and you'd have a match or roller derby. Kirby Smart, he goes and says, we'll just pull out of the league and we can do our own. We'll pull out of the country, the whole nation.
We'll pull the league out.
We'll pull the league out and we'll do our own thing. And then Sankey runs his mouth and says, we're the best. And all three of them, since the SEC hasn't won a damn thing in football in at least 3 years, I wasn't a math major, but I can count that high. Right. All the SEC people, shut up.
Can I ask you a question?
Right now, you're just losers and you're loud losers.
Can I ask you a
Shut
question?
Up.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Would you open your jacket and reveal where that sweater is from? What was that, a Northwestern sweater, isn't it? Yeah, Northwestern, Mr. Big Ten.
That's right.
Let's move.
Big
Just
Ten.
when the French Open looked to be wide open for Novak Djokovic, he's out. The 3-time French Open winner was up 2-0 over Brazilian João Fonseca in their third-round match, but the 19-year-old started chipping away, winning the third, then the fourth, and with the 39-year-old Djokovic just 1 point from pushing the fifth to a deciding tiebreak, Fonseca went ace, ace, ace to win. Wilbon, what did you make of the match? Where does this leave the draw?
I'm in despair. And while both of us sort of like to see Joker get popped a little bit.
Yes. Well, one of us, for
you
certain.
more so than me.
Yes.
I like to see him get popped and then remain in the draw. And the French Open is when I start watching tennis. I may watch a couple of warm-ups, but the French Open is when, let's go. Now we're into the season of professional tennis and matches, tournaments that matter. Now, I mean, you're missing too much. You've had all the recent retirements, Federer, Nadal. You've got Alcaraz, who's injured with the wrist, and he's not in it. You got the loss of Sinner, who goes out in the heat. And now you have no Joker? I mean, can we just have Serena Williams forget about this double she's playing and bring her in? Because, I don't know who's left in the tournament.
This
no star power.
Was Djokovic's last great chance, maybe last great chance to win number 25 majors. Because Alcaraz wasn't entered, and Sinner just went out, and you could look at the draw opening up, and he couldn't close. He could not close. I watched the last set. He could not close.
Maybe it's over.
Am I correct? He was a 3 seed, right?
I think he was.
He lost to the 28th seed. Now, I know, because I listened to this on the broadcast, they called this kid a Brazilian superstar.
He's 19.
He's the 28th seed. You know who's a Brazilian superstar? Pelé is a Brazilian superstar. I don't know. Maybe
you're going to regret downgrading.
Maybe he wins Wimbledon because Alcaraz is not going to play. Maybe Sinner gets upset. Maybe he wins. He's won Wimbledon 7 times. But the last time he won Wimbledon, I believe, was 2022, and he's won all the other majors since then. He's 39. Do you know the oldest guy to ever win a major? Ken Rosewall at 37. So nobody 39, nobody 38.
Are you happy Djokovic is not now in the draw?
Happy?
You're going to watch the French Open this weekend? No, you're not.
I'm going to watch.
No, come on.
I'm going to watch. I'm not happy.
You like stars.
There's no love lost between me and him. I understand that. But he's a great player. I'm just not. I think within a year, he's going to pull the plug. Like Federer did, like Nadal.
He'll be 40 years old.
Yeah,
he's had a great career.
Oh, he's had one of the 2 or 3 greatest careers of all time.
He might be,
but I don't think he's getting another one. That's your position, not mine. Let's take one. Excuse me. Let's take one last break. Still to come. Why is Gilgeous-Alexander struggling from the field? We're going to ask Tim Legler.
And also whether the Knicks would match up better against the Thunder or the Spurs. Christian Sarkisian, I like. Christian Sarkisian.
They're minus when he's on the floor. They're minus. Well, how is that possible? And Thunder going to Game 7 with our great friend ESPN NBA analyst Tim Legler, at whose career we were at the start of his
the whole
broadcast.
thing. He's going to put up with us for a long time.
Let's start with this. Victor Wembanyama slumped in Game 5, definitely, but came out on fire last night in Game 6. Did he do anything differently?
Well, I think 2 things. One, mindset was different. He was definitely more aggressive, and he challenged himself after the previous game that he needed to be because of the pressure that he puts on defenses when he's aggressive. So that's first. It's a mindset. And he clearly was aggressive at the start. But the other thing that helps, early returns. And by that, I mean, you knock down a couple of jump shots early and you hit 2 threes early in that game. It definitely changes the start of your night. And in some cases can set the table for your entire night. So he definitely got off to a great rhythm. But here's the other thing. I thought where he was starting his actions as a screener, which is a very big part of their offense, were inside the 3-point line a lot more often. And here's why that's important. When you set that screen 20 to 23 feet, he's one stride, he's at the rim coming out of that screen. It's a totally different level of pressure that he's putting on the backline defense than if he sets that screen at 28 to 30 feet, and now it's 2 or 3 strides sometimes to get down there. He can get bumped more, chipped more. It's just not as much of a threat. And the data backs that up, by the way. The points per possession when he sets that screen tighter are significantly better than when he sets that screen further out on the floor. And I thought the Spurs recognized it, and they did a great job of making that a focal point of how they wanted to run their half-court offense.
All right, Tim, let's similarly zero in a second on SGA, who's shooting 38% from the floor in this series, way down from his 55% in the regular season. Give us sort of the list in order, if you will, of why this is.
I think a couple of things for me when I look at it, and there's no doubt this is different for SGA and anything we've seen in the past in terms of his efficiency. So you're looking at these 2 teams, and they have, to me, the best sets of perimeter defensive shells in the entire NBA. The number of guys they can throw with elite ball handlers and scorers, the amount of help that they give off the dribble, their communications and rotations are just better than anybody else. So he's going up against one of the top defensive perimeter teams in the league. But here's where they're making it tough on him. He's not getting the early stuff that he's used to, whether that's an early push up the floor to the backcourt that leads to a quick shot for himself, or even if it is a half-court walk it up set. He is so used to his initial action, whether that's a ball screen or a quick ISO, immediately within 3, 4, 5 dribbles, he gets into something good for himself. He's so used to that. That's not happening against the Spurs. Their initial defense on him is so good that oftentimes he has to give it up. And when he does get it back, it's much deeper into the clock. It's his second time that he's got to try to generate offense on that possession. It wears you out. So for me, he looks like he's getting worn down in these games because the easier stuff is not coming to him that he doesn't have to work that hard for. It's an elite defensive team. They're on point with their game plan. And I think they're doing a great job making sure his night is not easy by giving him easy possessions where he gets into his shot before he's had to work for it.
All right, let's broaden this out for a second then. And look at Game 7. There's been a flurry of road teams winning Game 7s, which we've never seen historically. But given all that, Tim, for the champs tomorrow night, do you see them having at home a little edge, a big edge, or no real edge at all?
I would probably go no edge too. If I gave the home team the tiniest edge, it's simply because they are at home. I know what that building looks like. I've been there in the postseason. They're going to have an incredible home environment. But right now, when you get to a 7th game, I think all bets are off the table, particularly you alluded to it, Mike. It's not like it used to be. That was a death sentence going on the road for a Game 7 in the playoffs in the NBA. Recent data over the last 5 to 10 years, that's just not the case. Teams are pulling this off. So I think now you get to a 7th game, you've seen each other this much. It's going to come down to who rises to the occasion on that stage under that kind of pressure. And you need your stars to play well. But for me, it's going to be those next guys. And we don't know who that's going to be. And that's why the uncertainty of it all means this, to me, right down the middle. And if you give an edge, it's got to be Oklahoma City by the slightest amount because they are at home. But I don't think home court advantage means what it used to under these circumstances.
We will get you out of here on this. You called the Knicks sweep. Which of these Western teams would be a better matchup for the Knicks?
Well, listen, I don't want to sit on the fence or hedge the question, but I really believe this, what I'm about to say. I don't think either one of those represents necessarily something that you go, oh, this is what the Knicks needed or wanted. Now, in the regular season, and I don't know that it means that much because this isn't the Knicks team from the regular season. The Knicks scored 100 points a game against OKC. They scored 128 against San Antonio. And Victor Wembanyama played in those games. And so they did, for some reason, they were able to get into a better rhythm against San Antonio on that end of the floor. But the regular season is so far removed from what these teams have become. And for the Western Conference, if you survive that, you've got to feel so good about your chances about, beating that other guy that everybody knew was a foregone conclusion we're going to meet in the Western Conference Finals. You survive that, you've got to feel pretty good about your shot in the finals. For the Knicks, I don't know that it matters. They're both elite defensive teams. They're both incredibly deep. They both have superstars you've got to deal with. But for whatever reason, they did have a lot more success offensively against the Spurs in the regular season than they did the Thunder.
Thank you, Tim. It's a
Tim,
great
appreciate
pleasure.
it, man. Love having you.
Great having you. Thank you.
Always, guys.
Let's take one last break. When we come back, the Vegas Golden Knights famously fired Bruce Cassidy. So why won't they let him coach somewhere else, huh? Why?
And Montreal faces elimination tonight in Game 5.